What's going on, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with your WNBA Layup session for Sunday, June 1st, 2025. If you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. Let me know your WNBA picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily $15 best bet, head to Pickdawgz.com. Click the Premium Picks tab at the top of the page. Sunday's card brings us a full slate of Major League Baseball, as well as some WNBA action. We've got, for me, a $15 pickoff play on the board, an MLB 5-pack, and a WNBA play of the day. So use the promo code PICK at checkout, get 15% off your purchase, and let's make you some money. Now, you can see I am solo on Sunday's layup session. Jay's just having a travel day, but he will be back with us on Monday on the morning show and presumably for the WNBA layup session as well. But you guys are stuck with me today, but we have a great card full of action. Sunday's card brings us the debut of the 2025 Commissioner's Cup. 4 matchups on the board. I'm going to channel the wraparound a little bit here. You guys know the drill. You ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it. Our first matchup takes us to the Barclays Center, where the New York Liberty take on the Connecticut Sun. And, the New York Liberty coming off of a big win over the Washington Mystics. And I was on the Mystics in that game. I said, you know what? The Liberty came out a little bit flat in the second half of the game, the back-to-back against Golden State. Maybe they would do it here against the Mystics, who were a really good underdog last year and even this year as well. But New York just came out and blew them out by 22 points. And realistically, the Liberty doing that whole act against Golden State and coming out sluggish in the rematch was kind of what they did last season in those back-to-back situations. So really shouldn't have been surprised with New York there, but they came out strong and showed why they were the defending champs against what for me is still a really solid Washington Mystics team. Now they do take on the Connecticut Sun here, who are coming off of their first win of the season by defeating a Caitlin Clark-less Indiana Fever team, and I think that's just more about the Fever stinking up the joint. I mean, you don't stick your nose up at the result because the Connecticut Sun did win outright as 11-point dogs at the closing line, but again, you got to just take the result with a grain of salt because the Fever have stunk it up in 2 games without Caitlin Clark. And I think now the Connecticut Sun get kind of a reality check because prior to that win over Indiana, they had lost games by 22 and 24 points to Dallas and Atlanta. They gave up a season high 109 to the Wings, and that tells you, they scored 87 points and still lost by 22. They scored a season low 55 in that 24-point loss to Atlanta. They also lost to the Aces by 25. They did keep it close on the road against the Lynx, catching 16 points. But the thing is that the Lynx have been guilty of letting teams hang around a little bit this season. And with the Commissioner's Cup, one of the tiebreakers is point differential. If there is a 3-way tie, it goes head-to-head record and then point differential. So we see teams all the time run up the score, even in the NBA and now to follow in the WNBA in these mid-season tournaments where teams need the point difference. They run it up and they score late. Normally in games where maybe you would just dribble it out, they're taking extra shots. So I think that the Liberty come here and, like I said, deal a reality check to the Connecticut Sun. The Liberty, won games by 22, 28, and 25 this season. Also have a 14-point win over the Las Vegas Aces. So give me the Liberty laying the big number in this one. Now we head to the Crypto.com arena for a match between the Los Angeles Sparks and the Phoenix Mercury. And, I look at this Sparks team who's 2-5 on the year, and they just haven't been able to put it together. And I mean, maybe it's this team's still taking time to gel as a unit. Kelsey Plum, it's not her fault. I mean, she's been lighting it up all season long, but they haven't been able to really put it all together. I mean, they have blowout losses to teams like Minnesota. They lost to Golden State. They lost to the Dream at home. They got beat up by 15 points against the Aces last time out. The only win they have was against a then winless Chicago Sky team in that stretch and the season opening win over the Valkyries. But the thing for me here is that I can't justify the Sparks laying this kind of number even at home. The Phoenix Mercury, yeah, they're banged up. They're missing Kalia Copper for the first few weeks of the season, and now they're also missing their second leading scorer and leading assist assist leader in Alyssa Thomas. as she's banged up too. She's also contributed on the glass as well. Seitu Sabali, I think she's going to have a big game here. And we've seen the Mercury, even without Alyssa Thomas last game, they still took the Minnesota Lynx down to the wire. And I think that they are the better team in this matchup. They have a defense that travels. They have a great defense that's one of the best in the WNBA. And I think that this game's going to be tight if the Mercury don't win this game outright. I personally think the wrong team could be favored here, even with Alyssa Thomas out. So I'm going to take the Mercury and the points in this one. Now we head to Climate Pledge Arena where the Seattle Storm play host to the Las Vegas Aces. And these two teams just met not that long ago, and it was a 102-82 victory for the Seattle Storm in that matchup, and they just absolutely took it to the Las Vegas Aces in that one. They put up 34 points in the first quarter, led 58-36 at the half, and really just didn't look back in that game. They shot 60% from the floor, 50% from three, but I obviously think those numbers are a little bit unsustainable. And I think that the Aces have started to wake up a little bit. They had a bit of a sluggish start to the year, losing in the final rematch against the Liberty, but it's a quick revenge spot for the Aces. I know the Storm have played their best at home, and I said, when Jay and I were doing the layup session recently, I said that if the Seattle Storm, when they were playing the Aces the first time around, could beat the Aces, I would probably have to give the Storm the benefit of the doubt that they just play their best basketball at home. And realistically, this team does that. They play their best basketball at home. The problem is that, like I said, it's a quick revenge spot for the Aces, who have started to pick it up, started to put it all together. And you add in the Commissioner's Cup aspect of it. I think both teams are going to want to come out and get the job done here. But I just think at its core, the Aces are the better team, especially adding Jewel Lloyd to their ranks. So I'm going to roll with the Las Vegas Aces. It's not often you're going to get the Aces at this kind of price, whether it's the money line or even laying a single possession, even on the road. So give me the Aces in this one. Our final game comes to us from the Chase Center, where the Golden State Valkyries take on the Minnesota Lynx, and this is a game that is going to hinge on some very important information. Nafisa Collier missed the last game because of injury. She's the leading scorer in the WNBA, and the Lynx still a solid team, 3-0 on the road, 2-1 against the spread, but the problem for me with the Minnesota Lynx laying this number is that, again, I would want to confirm that Collier is playing. Now, maybe the line being where it is with the Lynx on the road tells us that maybe she is playing here. It's also a cross-country trip back west for the Valkyries after playing a back-to-back against the Liberty at Barclays Center and playing that game, 3 days ago. But the thing for me here is that the Minnesota Lynx, yes, they are a good team, but they've also been guilty of playing with their food a little bit. They had 2 blowout wins on the road to start the year over Dallas and LA, winning those games by 15 and 14 points. But since then, they've won games against the Wings, the Sun, who were both winless at the time, the Storm, solid win, and the Phoenix Mercury on the road, really good win, but still. Won those games by a combined 18 points. They beat the Wings by 4, the Sun by 6, with laying double digits in both those games. They didn't cover against the Seattle Storm, and they didn't cover against the Phoenix Mercury, almost losing that game outright. I just think the Valkyries here are going to show up at home. They showed up in the second half of that back-to-back against the Liberty, and it was looking for a little while like the Valkyries could have maybe pulled off the outright upset, but I think Golden State getting back home is going to be the difference for them here to at least keep this game respectable. Like I said, I really want to see the status of Nafisa Collier before really locking this in and going heavy on it. Right now, it's just a lean for me towards the Valkyries and the points. But yeah, like I said, if Nafisa Collier is out, I would play it. If she does play, well, then it's still going to stick a lean for me here. But it's going to be the Valkyries for me and the points in this one. That's it. That's your WNBA layup session for Sunday, June 1st, 2025. I want to thank each and every one of you that's joined me for the layup session today. Like I said, Jay and I hopefully be back together doing the layup session, breaking down the WNBA tomorrow, aka Monday. For me, I've still got my MLB pick-off play for $15 at the website. Got an MLB 5-pack and my WNBA play of the day on the board. Like I said, lots of action. So hop on something long-term. Jay's going to have a ton of stuff on the board as well. You can pair the both of us up. Use our multi-capper promotion. Remember to use the promo code PICK at checkout for 15% off your purchase. You can find me on Twitter at RuffThePickDawg. And remember, when you're at Pickdawgz, check out our betting tools. They're 100% free. They're there for you to use, ready to make you some money. And also, remember, smash that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and help us reach 250K. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's smash the books and let's cash some winners.